Okay, in this video, I just want to give 5 quick arguments for the existence of God. You know, the scriptures tell us in Psalm 19, the heavens declare the glory of God. Romans 1 and verse 20 tells us that the things that have been made show the fact that God exists so convincingly that those who do not accept it have no excuse. So what are some things that we could point to? Here we go. Number 1, there is a universe. If we look around, we see lots of things. We've got stars, planets, living things like trees, animals, so on and so forth. Where did all these things come from? I think we can agree, hopefully, that if there was ever a time when there was nothing, we would still have nothing now, because something cannot come from nothing. Therefore, something must have always existed in order for things to exist now. Now, there's a lot of problems with the idea that matter could have always existed. And so it's not really reasonable to think that the universe has always existed. The universe seems to have had a beginning. And so if the universe had a beginning, then something else or someone else must have always existed, God. Now, a particular well-known atheist, whose name many of you would know, has said, well, that doesn't really buy the Christian anything, because then you have to explain where God came from. Well, things that have a beginning require a cause. Things that are eternal do not require a cause because they're eternal. Secondly, the universe appears designed. As cosmologists have pointed out, there are a remarkable number of characteristics that the universe seems to have that make it suitable for life as we know it, and that if something was changed just a little bit here or there, then life could not exist. And it seems that really the two main explanations to try to explain where this came from is, one, either God created it, or two, that there's a multiverse, that there's an inconceivably vast multiverse of which we're in this particular universe, and a whole bunch of other universes are not suitable for life, but we're fortunate enough to be in this particular one. Critics would say that that's not even really a scientific theory, because how can we investigate all these other universes that supposedly exist outside of our own universe? Kind of sounds to me like just an attempt to get around the fact that the universe appears designed. Number 3, that the Earth also appears designed. Some might argue that, oh, the Earth is just this insignificant little planet somewhere off in the Milky Way galaxy there. Not really. If we take a look at the characteristics that the Earth possesses, it's quite remarkable. The Earth is definitely a very special planet. It has a variety of different things that are required for most of the living things that we observe to be able to have a good environment to live in. Fourth, there are living things. How can you get life from non-life? Everyone agrees that there was a time when there weren't any living things here on Earth. And so how is it that we have living things now? And centuries ago, people might have thought, oh, well, you know, a single cell, that's just a little blob of jello or something like that, no problem to try to get something like that by chance. But of course, as science has advanced, we realize that even a single cell is excruciatingly complex. The notion that you could get something like that just by chance just seems extremely, extremely implausible. And then finally, 5, that life has various characteristics that seem to exhibit design. I'm talking about things beyond a single cell. So like a hand, a wing, an eye, a brain, a heart, lungs, you know, all sorts of different things. And now, of course, some would say, well, all those things evolved over the course of hundreds of millions of years and things like that. You know, sometimes I think people on the evolution side criticize creationists by saying, oh, well, you know, that's going to put an end to science because people will just say God did it, and so they won't bother to investigate anything else. If they look at the history of science, I think they should be able to see that's not true. But I think sometimes people on the evolution side, they kind of just throw evolution in there. It's like, well, I have no idea how this could possibly have evolved, but somehow evolution must have produced it. I think if people kind of look at what would be required for certain things to have evolved over the course of time by random mutations, it's just not really reasonable to think that all of those things could have happened, even if you had hundreds of millions of years to work with. So there we go. 5 arguments. I'll pause there.